So the next feature that I want to introduce you to here in regards to a pivot table is kind of doing the reverse of what a pivot table is all about. Now remember, when we first started creating a pivot table, we started out with this sales data worksheet, and it was detailed records, right? We knew the year, the month, the type, the salesperson, 400 plus records of detailed information. Now we built a pivot table based off this data so that we could summarize it. I want to move away from details because I now want to create a report that I can look at and maybe compare salespeople against one another with total sales or months. Did we increase in revenue or decrease month over month? I want to get summarized information that I wouldn't normally get out of just raw detailed data, or at least not very accessible to get to that point. Well, now that I've got a pivot table and I've summarized it and I can get to those really quick, intelligent business decisions based on this summarized data, there's going to be occasion where you now want to drill into the summarized data to see the details. For example, looking at this set of data right here, I'm looking at April for Parker. That holy moly, Parker blew everybody away, right? $300,000. The next closest person to him is $108,000 worth of sales, or his next month. Excuse me. Next month is there. If I'm looking at April, the next person there is 142. So roughly half as much as Parker for the month of April. How did Parker get to that number? So I want to see the details behind that $301,977 sales amount right there. Well, this is another very simple feature. This is called drill down. I'm going to drill down into the details of that number. And the way that you do this is by double clicking. I'm going to double click on Parker's amount there for April. Double click, just left double click. This creates a whole new sheet and I've got all the details of that number right there. I can see this is the month of April for Parker, and I can see everything that Parker sold, the sales amounts, and so on, all right there in one spot. Drill down into that data. I can go back to my pivot table sheet. Still got my data right there. I'm looking at, here's December for Bishop, 157,000. I give that a double click, and I'm right into Bishop's data. Drill down into the details of that summarized number. Really easy to do, not much more than that, but a very effective, accessible way to get back to the details. If you didn't have this feature, I get back to pivot tables and I think, you know what, Parker, whoa, what's going on there? So I'd have to go back to the sales data sheet, and perhaps I'd have to filter for Parker and filter for April, and I'd modify the original list. Well, I don't have to do that. Really accessible. Just double click on any cross section within your pivot table and you've got the detailed drill down into your data right there. Try it out. Simple double click and you're there.